Welcome to Mupdates, your monthly Medfield updates. I'm this month's host, Brett Portier, filling in for Audrey Enzer. This episode is all about April 2021. We're covering Medfield TV's Mental Health Monday project announcement, New Life Furniture Bank's 5K race, MFI's productions from April, annual town meeting information, and we also have updates from the school committee with Jess Riley, Jeffrey Marsden, as well as an update from a representative. First up, Medfield TV wants to announce our second year producing the Mental Health Monday project. This show was started in May of 2020 in collaboration with the Medfield Coalition for Suicide Prevention, a Medfield Foundation initiative as administered by Medfield Outreach to alleviate stress and promote mental health awareness. We are now creating new episodes of the show for every Monday this May, so be on the lookout for those. Next is an announcement from New Life Furniture Bank about their upcoming 5K.
My name is Doug Marshall. I'm a co-founder of New Life and chairman of the board, and we founded New Life in October of 2013.
Hi, I'm Richard. I'm the executive director of New Life.
New Life works with over 100 agencies, and they refer people who are moving out of homelessness, and so they help us verify the need, and then we work with them and the clients in order to provide the furniture and household goods to make a house a home.
So New Life takes in gently used furniture and we give it to people in need. So people transitioning out of homelessness that have been in shelters, people that are escaping domestic violence situations, people who have suffered fires. We ensure that when they do get a new place to live, that it's fully furnished.
We're getting the inventory from people who are simply redecorating to people who are downsizing. They're moving loved ones to different facilities, and we're also making connections with furniture stores as well as colleges, universities, and hotels. So the amount of furniture and household goods out there, there's a good amount, and we're just also really pleased to be able to do something for the environment.
So New Life has been able to quickly change our operations from an in-person to a completely virtual operation in order to serve our clients. We're able to launch an online store as well as start to serve clients over the phone through conference calls while they looked at our website. It's been tremendously successful, and over the last year, we've been able to scale it up to a point where we're back to serving the same amount of clients as we did prior to the pandemic. The silver lining in all of this, New Life has become much more efficient, leaner, and is able to, once things do get back to normal, we're able to serve many more clients because of the ingenuity of the volunteers.
So New Life is hosting its 4th annual 5K trail run. And it's going to be on Saturday, May 8th. You can register through our website, which is www.newlifefb.org. And this year, we're hoping to have an in-person race. Last year we had to go virtual, so we're hoping to be one of the first organizations to have an in-person race. But you also can do a virtual run if you prefer this year as well. If you decide to do it in person and the state opens up for in-person events, then we're going to do staggered start. So you can actually sign up for staggered start online, and it'll give you a time to be there, and then you'll run with a very small group. So we're making sure that we're doing it safely from that perspective. Or if you choose, you can do it virtually if you want to just run the 5K on the route that you choose. And supporting the organization. Our 5K trail run is an event that not only supports New Life from a monetary perspective, but it's also we're trying to bring the community together.
So New Life is a volunteer-driven organization. We have a very small staff, and the majority of how we operate and get things done is through people volunteering their time on Saturdays, throughout the week, virtually, in person. There's an opportunity for everybody. Our website is a great place to find contact information, to sign up, to explore opportunities, as well as sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates of what's going on at New Life.
Volunteerism is the lifeblood of our organization. Without our volunteers, we wouldn't have been able to grow and support the number of families that we've been able to. And there's just a tremendous amount of way to be involved. You can be involved in just regular sorting days or receiving days on Saturday where we take in donations. But also there's a lot of things to do outside the organization. In terms of special projects or jobs that we need help with on a regular basis, from anything from database management to hosting clients virtually. So there's an opportunity and a way to get involved for everybody.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for updates on what's going on, as well as high need items that we are low on. Thank you.
Next is a segment with Medfield Foundation. They did 2 shows with us this month. Evan Weisenfeld, president of MFI, appeared as a guest on the Discussion With, where he talked about Medfield Foundation and introduced their new show, Community Connections. He also hosted the first episodes, which covers the Medfield Grist Mill. Here's some clips from both of those productions.
In the 20 years, we've raised a little over $3.3 million that directly benefits and goes back to the town of Medfield. Medfield Foundation was founded at that time as a way to generate private funds to help support public need. So the idea being, how can we keep taxes lower? How can we still continue to build a great community? I mean, that's our tagline, building community. And it's all about making Medfield a better place to live for all the residents. So we've done a lot of things over the years. We've had programs and services and lots of things I'm sure we'll talk about. But that $3.3 million is done through lots of different initiatives and some very, very generous people, in town that we really, couldn't have been doing this without them. We work with a number of different organizations that, support the town in a number of different ways, but it's all about giving back to the community.
As you talk about that, one of the great things is you also promote townwide initiatives. One of your goals is to help promote these little organizations, because obviously, being Medfield TV, being a TV station, we know promotion is not only it's so important, but it's so difficult to do that as well, which MFI is now going to start a TV show here on Medfield TV.
We're really thrilled to be here, and I guess the official announcement of our TV show is going to be called Community Connections with MFI. And it's all going to be about how do we help support the community and all of the different efforts of the groups and nonprofits in town. And it won't be just about MFI. We're interested in working with all the different groups in town. We really see ourselves in our role as facilitating all of this effort and communication and publicity and raising funds. Whether that money comes through us directly or not, that's not what's important, because our mission is all about improving the quality of life in town. And so if we do that through groups like the Coalition, Medfield Coalition for Education, or New in Town, or other groups like that, we're happy to do that. And so we'll be inviting lots of different groups to be part of the show and to talk about what they have going on and how MFI can help.
Yeah, it was something that we've always wanted to do, is to kind of have a nonprofit show that helped promote these organizations, because anyone watching, any of our viewers that are at home know that one of the things that kind of separates Medfield is the fact that there are so many nonprofits that are out there. And they're, like you said, there's some pick up with small projects in mind, some pick up with these larger goals. And this is a way for us to actually highlight some of the great people that are behind them, because there's a lot of people who are doing some great work out there. So I'm really excited for the show. And we're going to start with the first episode is with Dick Judge of the Grist Mill.
Yes. Yeah, so they're doing some great things, as I mentioned. They've got their fundraiser going on now. They have a big spring cleanup coming up soon. So we'll talk to Dick about what they've got going on and how people in the community can help support the Grist Mill, and all the great things that they're doing.
Really happy to have you on our inaugural show. I'm really excited to learn more about the Grist Mill and all the great things that you guys have been doing there. As a way of background and introduction, maybe you can tell everybody a little bit about the Kingsbury Pond Grist Mill and its history here in Medfield.
The first settlers that moved to Medfield, the mill was the most important building in town, secondary to the church, I should say. When they settled, milling grain was tedious and extremely labor intensive in regards to crushing the stones and so forth. Now, there are 2 millstones that are still in the mill. People are just blown away when they go in. They say, "Oh my God, look at those. The stones were milled right here in Medfield by hand. They were cut out off of Granite Street. In fact, there's still some remnants of where they took some of the stones out up there. So these 2 stones weigh a couple tons apiece. The bottom stone stays stable and the top stone turns. You put the grain in the top, the grain gets pushed between the stones and gets crushed between the stones. First time around, you get a heavy grist. Second time around, you get more toward flour of putting it through. It's ground, it makes its way to the outside of the stone because the stone has carvings in it that pushes the grist to the outside of the stone. And by the time it gets to the outside of the stone, it's already been crushed between the stones about a dozen times and is almost flour. I'm encouraging everyone to stop by the property. It's on Route 27, kitty corner from St. Edward's. If you're headed out of Medfield Center toward Walpole on Route 27, it's on the left-hand side on the Kingsbury-Clark Pond. You'll see a little red building at the end of the pond. It's much bigger than it looks from the street. And that's why so many people, I think, pass by and they go, okay, it's a small building. Pull in the driveway. You own it as Medfield residents. You own the property. It's yours to take care of. The project we are undertaking requires a new roof. So if anybody's out there who has any access to cedar shingles, we are looking for a donation or a good deal on cedar shingles. We're going to have to re-roof it. We're looking for any kind of a donation of a crane. A lot of smart people in Medfield, and we're looking for engineers that need to rethink engineering, because a lot of the engineering that has gone into this mill has been lost. And so we have to reinvent the wheel, basically, to get this going again.
The link is medfieldfoundation.org/give, and we will direct your donations, whether it's for the Grist Mill or any one of the other Medfield Foundation initiatives or programs that are being run, to the right organization. Of course, we're big fans of the Grist Mill and everything that they're doing. And we know that with the installation of the turbine and the maintenance and upkeep, and regardless of the fact that Dick doesn't want to spend the money in the nickel fund, we do need to raise funds to make sure that we can continue to support the building and bring it back to working order. I think that it would be a really amazing opportunity for our town to have a working mill. It would quickly become a tourist attraction. People would be able to mill their grain, and I think that we would probably have, for example, restaurants who would be interested in purchasing grain directly from the grist mill if we were to ever get into that.
The full episodes are available on our watch page, medfield.tv/watch, or on our YouTube channel, Medfield TV. You can also listen to interviews and meetings on the Medfield TV podcast at medfield.tv/listen or on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. The annual town meeting has been postponed to Monday, May 17th and Tuesday, May 18th at 5 p.m. Final details will be released at a later date, but they are planning on holding it outdoors as they did in June 2020. The next segment of this episode is from an update from the school committee with Jess Riley and Jeff Marsden.
Hi, my name is Jessica Riley, and I am the chair of the Medfield School Committee.
Hi, I'm Jeff Marsden. I'm your superintendent of schools. Happy to be here. We're really pleased that our students are now full in person in pre-K through 12. I know it was a long process, and we started bringing students back in January. And our last group of kids came back right before April vacation at a high school, all well above the requirements of the state. So we're real happy that we had the cooperation of our families, our teachers, and also our Board of Health that supported us through this process.
Last night at the President's joint address to Congress, House Representative Auchincloss invited Dr. Marsden to be his guest because Medfield has been able to get the highest level of pool testing across the state. Is that correct?
It is, yes. Our
And
participation
so that
rates
puts
are phenomenal.
So it essentially puts us ahead of most of the country. Our district and the efforts of our district have really been recognized nationally. And for the first time, I think that Medfield High School was mentioned on the floor of the House of Representatives in April. So that's really exciting.
I think the representative came to visit us 3 weeks ago and got to see exactly what we do with pool testing. And as I said that day, and I said again yesterday, it really is a celebration of our nurses and the great work that they did. We signed up for the program, but they really developed a great plan, implemented it. Our kids were really, our kids participated at a rate that is much higher than anywhere else in the state. We're at over 80% right now at the high school. Our staff, over 90% participating. So we've recently expanded the pool testing to our elementary schools. So now we're doing grades 4 and 5, and we're going to assess that in a few weeks and see whether or not we bring it down to grades 2 and 3. But it's really been an outstanding process. It allows us to really get a surveillance of if the virus is in our schools, and if it is, what we can do about it. But it gives a great peace of mind to not only families, but our teachers that we are looking to see if the virus is in our schools and then taking action if we find it.
And that there's a flexibility to it as well. That one of the things that has really helped us is that we are also able to do immediate, rapid by-next testing. So that if we do identify a pool, we get those results
within 15
back
minutes.
Within 15 minutes.
So the design of the program has worked in what the Congressman has called the Medfield Model, in which he mentioned on the floor of the House, because what he saw was that it was just a great representation of how a community can work together to keep kids in full time, use the science, use the evidence-based that we have out there to keep kids in school. So I think it's been a real privilege to work with him, but I think it's nice to get the recognition from this community because it really has been a community effort. Beginning last year, we started to receive federal funds from the federal government to help with reopening of schools and keeping kids in school. And the CARES Act was one that the town got that we didn't get as a school district, but we worked closely with the town and were able to access some of those funds for reopening of our schools. Then there was ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and ESSER 3. ESSER 1 was very, very small for Medfield, only $20,000. ESSER 2 was, again, fairly small for Medfield, about $176,000. And then ESSER 3, which we haven't had the allocation yet, ESSER 3 is going to be a little bit more, hopefully over $400,000. And that will be used for us to help with the reopening of school again in September, and then look at some programming that we might need. Like, for instance, we're looking right now is doing a second year of boot camp in our district so that kids would have the opportunity ones that we identify would have the opportunity to come in and do additional support for language arts, mathematics, either a 4 or 8-week session depending on the interest, but a way to really try to bolster some of the skills that kids may have lost during the last year or so. We're doing assessments right now in the district, and we're not seeing, in a general sense, the amount of loss that is supposed to be happening as what the media is putting out there. And we think we have some pretty good reasons for that. One is that early on with our teachers, we had them really truncate the curriculum so that they had to focus on those power standards, the things that really matter for kids in that particular grade level or that particular course, and really truncate what they were doing to focus on those. And then, in our hybrid model that we started in September, class sizes were really small because only half your class was there. So that really allowed teachers to personalize and get to know kids and work with them on a one-to-one basis much more than they would have in a regular environment when you have 20, 25 kids or so. And then the lessons that they planned on the remote days were engaging enough to keep the learning going as the kids were not in school in those particular days. And then the teacher collaboration is something that I think has been really a positive of this whole pandemic. I think the research has shown over the years, the last 25, 30 years, how important teacher collaboration is. But now that teachers were really forced into it by the pandemic, nationwide we see that the collaboration has really helped with curriculum planning, assessment, and really instruction. So I think that that's a really important thing that we're going to look at for the summer, is try to identify those kids that may need extra help in those areas, and then we'll use some of those federal funds to support that. So
let's swing back to fiscal year 22 and the budget that we're presenting to town meeting, which is at a non-traditional time and a non-traditional venue this year. So I think that we really have to help parents understand exactly how important it is that they are there. this year.
Right, so we've made, we've had an agreement among the boards about what the school's budget's going to be, which we typically always do at this time prior to town meeting, but nothing's ever official until it's voted on by the town at the annual town meeting. So it's really important for people to go, and if you want to support the school budget, we'd ask for that support. We worked really hard this year on a budget that, we typically start the process in October. In November, it really ramps up December, January, February, March. You guys in the school committee have really identify those priorities for us, and we've made some changes based on what you think is important for our school district. And we work closely with the warrant committee in the town to get to a number that works for everyone. And I think that the fact that we're going into town meeting with a 3.99% increase is great. It's great for our community, great for our school district. The budget essentially is the same programs, same people that we have this year, except for what we think is a really important addition, which is a school adjustment counselor at the middle school level. So that's the only additional position that we have in the budget this year, but we think it's a very important one. Currently, we have one person working between the high school and the middle school, and we really need to have a full-time person at the middle school doing that work.
Right, especially in the year in which we are coming back full-time, in that there has been so much disruption over the last, 18 months. And for many children, this has essentially been their secondary school experience. A social emotional support is going to be so much a part of what we need to do next year. Town meeting this year is actually at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on the high school field, socially distanced, and incredibly important, on May 17th. So that is a Monday. Then I believe the rain date is on May 18th, but it is non-traditional time, and it is very important for parents to come to hear what is happening in the schools.
Our town moderator, Scott McDermott, runs an incredible meeting. It's very efficient, and it's not like that all places, so I just want to say that he does that, so it's not something that you'll be bored by. It's definitely a really good meeting to attend, and it's very efficient, and again, lots of important town issues that will be on there that are important to be a part of. So
I think that is a lot of what we're doing here right now, and we're looking forward to the end of the year, to graduation, to rolling rallies,
it's a busy
to celebrations.
Yeah, one of the things that we felt was really important this year was to make sure that our seniors had as much as a normal ending to their high school career as we can. And we worked real hard last year for those seniors to have the rolling rally and to have a graduation when other places weren't doing that. And this year we worked just as hard with our kids and our families to have a rolling rally, a picnic. There'll be a senior cruise at the end of the year, and a graduation and a prom. So we're real happy about that because our kids deserve that, and we're pleased that we can provide that for them.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Watch full episodes of all of our shows on our website, medfield.tv/watch, or on our YouTube page, Medfield TV. Listen to meetings, interviews, and our original podcast at medfield.tv/listen, as well as on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. To stay up to date with all things Medfield, be sure to like Medfield TV on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Medfield TV. Lastly, don't forget to tune in to our cable stations, channel 8, 12, and 22 on Comcast, as well as channels 36, 45, and 47 on Verizon. That's it for April 2021 episode. See you next month for another episode of Mupdates, your monthly Medfield updates.